So I think that there could definitely be a risk that those who are in favour of vaccination, which, let's face it, in most societies is the majority of people, a significant majority of people, it's a no-brainer for those people, and they're also often able to be mobilised into thinking negatively about those who are not vaccinating, because of course our vaccination status doesn't just affect ourselves, it also affects the people around us. If there's large numbers of people in a community who are not vaccinated, then that puts those in that community who are immunocompromised or who are too young to be vaccinated, etc. Those people are at risk, right? So it's kind of easy to say, oh, you're not contributing to that, therefore you're bad, therefore there should be consequences. That's quite an easy claim to mobilise people around. So I guess there could be the risk that mandates are about kind of satisfying that emotional appeal on behalf of people like that, and it's an understandable reaction. And I guess in this regard we would want to look at examples from other disciplines and areas, and here I would look to the work of the international relations scholar Lee Jones, who looked at the introduction of sanctions in different countries, or by different countries to different countries for non-compliance with international law or international norms, and there's very well-known cases in history. And he kind of explores how often we might think, like with regard to sanctions, it would be like, it can either be like, we're going to bring in sanctions, we're going to get them, or it can even be, we're bringing in sanctions, we've got them, like we've already punished them simply by bringing in sanctions. And what Jones encourages us to think about is, well, actually, that's not the end point, and it's not the end point you wanted. Sanctions weren't the end. You actually want the change that you're seeking with the sanctions to be the end. And he demonstrates in his work that it can quite often be about the people sending the sanctions. It can be much more about what's going on for them and in their domestic politics. And I think if we take that to the level of vaccination and think about who mandates work for, I think sometimes they work for the people imposing them more than they might work for the intended audience. But of course, that's an empirical question, as we discussed previously. There is more than one way to come at this. So our question is really, we're going to have to see how the different modes of mandate and then the different strength of mandate bring about the intended consequences, and of course also may bring about unintended consequences as well.